Hi, in this video we're going to show you how to install the Android operating system as a virtual machine in VMware Workstation. So there's several Android distributions out there that you could play with, and some work better than others. So I did find this one that's called Lineage that seems to work pretty well, and they actually have a VMDK file for it, so you don't have to try and install it from an ISO file and hope that you get all the settings correct. All right, so once you download it, it's just a zip file here or a 7Z file, so we're just going to extract it. So you want to extract it to where you want to keep it, because if you move it later, you'll have to redirect your hard drive in VMware Workstation. But this is just a test, so I'm going to leave it here in the 64-bit folder once it's done here. Alright, so there's our drive there. Let me copy the path for when we install it here. Alright, so now I'm going to go to VMware Workstation here, do a new virtual machine. I'll install the operating system later. Okay, so I was doing other 64-bit, which seemed to work fine for it. There's other stations here, or other versions here for under other, where this seemed to work fine, so I'll keep it with other 64-bit. And we'll call this test Android. And then when you do the location, you might want to change this to where your VMDK file is, just so everything's in one place. But like I said, this is for testing purposes, so I'm not going to worry about that because it's going to get deleted when I'm done. Okay, we'll do one processor. We'll just give it 2 gigs of RAM. You give it as much as you want, depending on what you have on your host. Let's do 4. Will be nice. Okay, NAT's fine. LSI is fine. IDE disk is fine. Now we're going to use an existing disk. So place that in there and browse to it. So there's our 64-bit folder. There's our VMDK file that we extracted. Next. Now you have the option to convert virtual disk to newer format. So it's up to you, but I converted it. Finish. Alright, so now we're going to start it up and see what happens. Alright, so there's the desktop. I'm going to make this full screen here, just like so. And so, if you go to the Play Store, you'll have to sign in with your Google account. You could also have the settings up here, the drop-down bar. Even though I'm not using a wireless connection on this virtual machine, it's thinking it's using the wireless for the internet. And then you might have to change your time as well from the settings, depending on your time zone. So I have another one already configured here after I've already done the updates here. And just keep in mind, you might see some notifications up here about some Google, something about the Play Store or something. Google subsystem needs to be updated that you'll have to go ahead and do. And like I said, if you go to the Play Store, you could have to sign in with your account, or you could go to your Google account and sign in here. So let me go to this other one that I already have configured here. Alright, so I can see I've already got some apps here. I went to the Play Store. There's some notifications up here, calendar events. You could also long click, which is like long hold, if you want to get to your wallpapers and widgets. You could drag with your mouse to get to your other screens here. You got your apps here from your tray. And if you want to put something on the main desktop, you could just kind of drag over. I got to select it first. Drag it where you want it to go. Then you could also drag stuff in between your screens, like so. You got your search bar up top here. Then if you want to go to your settings, you got your settings icon here. Setting up your email account, like this has a virtual Wi-Fi. Like I say, even though I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, This display stuff's not going to work because it's not on a touch screen or like a regular screen. It's a virtual machine here. Notifications, you got your sound, apps, battery. Obviously it's not on a battery. It saw the 2 gigs of memory I gave to it. Location. Here's your date and time. Like so. Then you have your buttons here. If you want to see all your open apps, you could do that and just kind of slide them around to touch or to close them. You got your back button. So one thing you're going to have to make note of is, since there's no power button, you need a way to shut it down, because you don't want to just go to the VM menu and click power off. You don't kill it, and then you can't install VMware tools to do a proper shutdown. So what I did was I installed this app here. It's called Assistive Touch. You just have to do a couple settings, allow it access to do what it needs to do. And then once you have it there, let me open it up from here first. You have this custom menu, and then you could add stuff to it, like I added a power button there. So now it puts this little widget here, and now that pops up, and I have power options, and I could shut it down if needed. I restart it. So you're going to have to do something like that for shutdown purposes, and there's other apps out there you could use as well if you don't like this one. All right, so that's the gist of it. So, I'll just put a link in the description where you could download it. And it's simple, super easy to install. Just make sure you put your files where you want to keep them. Otherwise, you'll have to, if you do put the disk files somewhere and you end up moving it, you could just detach it and then reattach it in the new location, and it'll work just fine. All right, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.